Have a seat. It's time for a news dump.
Yeah, now we know, MoviePass fucked up again. You're probably on either side of the fence with our constant yet completely unintentional coverage of this company who decided to fall on the knife in order to change the movie theater industry for consumers. And you're either stoked because this tale is now weaving in and out of our shows like one of the real-life characters from Weekly Weird News, or you're saying you're tired of hearing us constantly reiterating that this deal is too good to be true, use it and bleed them dry because they're totally going out of business.
Come on, guys. This is working out for you. Anyway, based off the news that started popping up last night, we might not be talking about MoviePass in the near future because on one of the biggest opening nights for a movie this entire summer, they royally screwed their customers and themselves in what is probably the most embarrassing and telling way possible, by running out of money.
Womp womp.
Yeah, so last night saw the release of Mission Impossible Fallout, which is not only a huge franchise film, but it's also one that has astronomically high ratings with both critics and audiences. Obviously, people are going to want to see this movie, especially on opening night. So they plopped out their MoviePass and they said, let me get these tickets to either their phone or you're going to have to go home or just pay full price to see Ethan Hunt fly a helicopter because the MoviePass thing
not working. And this is because MoviePass was suffering from what they called a service interruption, but was actually them straight up running out of money and not being able to pay the company's merchant and fulfillment processors.
That's when I go to a bar and they're like, here's your bill. And I'm like, whoa.
I'm having a
bit of a service interruption here.
It's the card must be broken. There's money on it, I swear. Now, in order to restore service to their customers, MoviePass took out an emergency $5 million loan to make its payments so that it could continue to allow subscribers to see movies this weekend.
I think that it's just so fucking infuriating that, like, there are millions of people in this country who can't get a fucking bank loan to, like, pay for food for their children, and this company that has a blatantly just, like...
bad business model?
A business model that, like, just... overnight.
Well, now a filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission that was disclosed Friday morning read, the $5 million cash proceeds received from the demand note will be used by the company to pay the company's merchant and fulfillment processors. If the company is unable to make required payments to its merchant and fulfillment processors, the merchant and fulfillment processors may cease processing payments for MoviePass Incorporated, which would cause a MoviePass service interruption. Such a service interruption occurred on July 26, 2018.
Yeah, so if you're wondering whether or not MoviePass was forthcoming about these problems it was experiencing, we don't think you'll be very surprised to hear that no, they weren't. And they attempted to just place the blame on a service interruption that they were investigating.
We got our top men on it now.
We're looking into this. We have no idea what. We are aware and investigating an issue that is preventing users from checking into movies this evening. We ask for your patience as we look into this and recommend waiting for further updates before heading to the theater. Now, you could assume that their investigation wouldn't take very long, considering they were probably well fucking aware that they hadn't paid their own bills. But, they're not going to come out and say that, because that would look bad, right? It's all about image. We're doing fine, guys. MoviePass, not going away anytime soon.
When you hit a rough patch and you got to tell your landlord, hey, can you not cash that check till Thursday?
Yeah.
It really helps me out. I mean, the money's there, it's just not there yet.
Yeah, every time they interview the CEO of MoviePass, they have to shoot him from this angle because he's actually wearing a barrel for clothes.
Yeah.
He's like, can you just not show the
investigation, giving sporadic updates to angry customers with tweets like, we are still experiencing technical issues with our card-based check-in process, and we are diligently working to resolve the issue. In the interim, e-ticketing is working. We apologize for the inconvenience and appreciate your patience while we resolve this issue. Then, around 7 p.m. Pacific last night, which is far too late on the East Coast to even see anything, unless you're going to a midnight showing, I guess. Well, you wouldn't be able to do that either anyway, because around 7 p.m., they finally told customers to just stop trying and wait for them to fix. Determined this issue is not with our card processor partners and will be continuing to work on a fix throughout this evening and night. If you have not headed to a theater yet, we recommend waiting for a resolution or utilizing e-ticketing, which is not impacted. As we now know, the issue was that they ran out of money and were rolling one more time. And for maybe the last time.
Who did they get the loan from? Do we know?
Russia.
What if?
Yeah.
What if this was all blackmail to get a loan from Mission Impossible? Like, that would be a real shame if a bunch of people couldn't come out to your highly rated movie on opening night. Yeah, it'd be a real shame if our systems stopped working and no one could go watch the new Mission Impossible.
I don't think it's nefarious at all. I think it's bad business.
Yeah, you're probably right. Nah, never ascribe to maliciousness what can
Be
easily
described as-
explained by incompetence. So yeah, it's hard to imagine a worse look for this already ugly company, especially on the tail end of all the recent news, which clearly signaled its downfall. And at this point, we can't even recommend what we've been saying for months about how you should totally sign up and milk them dry, because now you might not be able to even get into the movie that you want to see anyway, even if you're okay with pricing. That's the surge pricing that they added. So good luck out there, movie passers. You're gonna need it.
Yeah.
There's a couple other services now. They're not as, the deals actually make sense.
Yeah.
And
they're put forward by the actual theater chains themselves and others.
Maybe look into that. But hey, now let's get away from the movie ticketing industry. Boring. Let's get back to the movies themselves. You remember how a few years back, 2 separate studios were developing 2 separate live-action Bro, which fared pretty well critically and at the box office. But the version that Andy Serkis has been working on has been mysteriously absent.
Now, obviously, this would make sense that they would want to stagger the release of his Jungle Book movie, which was formerly titled Jungle Book Origins, bad name, now titled Mowgli, better name.
Okay.
This way, they could wait for people to hopefully forget that they'd just seen a Jungle Book movie, or just maybe be hungry for another. But it's been over 3 years since the film first started shooting, and 6 years since the film first went in development, so where the hell is it?
Where's my Jungle Book?
Well, unbeknownst to either of us, Warner Brothers did release a full trailer for Mowgli
I saw it.
earlier this year. You did?
Yeah, I was not impressed.
I watched it today. It's hard to deny that it looks pretty similar to Disney's version, although this one's supposed to be, it's supposed to follow closer to the actual book.
You know what I don't like about this one? They made a very interesting choice with this, but, because, the whole selling point with this one is Andy Serkis doesn't exist yet, but it's like animals with human eyes. It makes
Death
me,
Valley.
It makes me feel.
Factory versus Johnny Depp's Charlie and the Chocolate
Yeah,
Factory.
I was on that Reddit thread too last night.
That was the Reddit thread?
I was like, what movie is better than the book?
Oh, yeah, but I'm talking about worse than the book.
Yeah. Well, the reason a lot of people listed for that was because the Johnny Depp one was actually pretty much beat for beat what the book was, whereas the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory made a lot of it made a ton of changes, which were written by Roald Dahl. They're like, we're adapting your book into a movie. He's like, okay, let me write the movie then, because a lot of this shit's not going to work in the movie.
Yeah.
And it ended up being a better movie. Anyway.
Yeah. Rudyard Kipling, not sure.
Kind of, yeah. So the trailer, when it was first released, it stated that this film would hit theaters on October 19th. And that's not going to happen anymore, because it was announced late this week that Netflix has officially acquired the worldwide rights to Mowgli, which is big news for Netflix.
Yeah.
And probably not so great news, kind of awkward news for Andy Serkis and Warner Brothers, we'd imagine, although from the PR standpoint, they're quite pleased with this result. Andy Serkis said to Deadline, "I'm really excited about Netflix for Mowgli. Now we avoid comparisons to the other movie, and it's a relief not to have the pressure." They also indicated that there will most likely be a theatrical release for the 3D version of the film, so okay. Yeah. We're definitely still interested, I guess. Neither of us are knocking it at all. If anything, we just kind of feel bad that it was constantly overshadowed by Disney coming in and rebooting their version around the same time. Either way, if you already have Netflix, you'll be able to check this one out sometime next year, apparently. And, my 2 cents here, Netflix does a lot of good things. Movies is not one of the things, they've had a few that were good. But
documentaries specifically.
Yes, but the actual narrative features, it is much more likely that a movie that Netflix buys to put on its platform is a movie they're buying at a discount because the studios
know that it's
they
going
know
like
that
Cloverfield.
It's gonna fucking tank. Yeah,
Cloverfield's a
Cloverfield,
good example.
that one, yeah.
But this will be interesting because it's been in development for so long, and Warner Brothers made it. It's not like Netflix made it, like Bright or something.
Right, but I mean, a lot of Netflix's movies they buy after the fact.
Well.
They're like, oh wait, no one wants this. The studios are terrified. This hasn't tested well at all. Someone please take this. Netflix is like, yeah, sure, whatever.
The cast is incredible.
Yeah, it's got a really good cast.
Anyway, speaking of reboots and remakes, though, there was one announced this week that has us both, I guess, cautiously optimistic. I don't know. Yeah, that's being a little bit generous.
I'm into this.
But at least the reboot isn't attempting to copy the original film entirely. It's a reboot of Home Alone. And the only reason it's really getting any traction at all is because Ryan Reynolds is apparently on board to produce and maybe, it's just a rumor, but maybe have a small role in it.
This is not an official reboot, by the way.
It's done by the same studio.
Well,
and they're calling it a reimagining.
okay. Well, anyway.
So what's different about this version? Well, this version of Home Alone is going to be an R-rated stoner comedy called, now brace yourself, Stoned Alone.
Oh, my knee.
Now, Stoned Alone, which will most certainly be sold to Netflix at a discount, centers around a 20-something weed-growing loser who misses the plane for his holiday ski trip. He makes the best of things by getting high. Paranoia sets in and he believes he hears someone break into the house. Turns out thieves have broken in. Fully stoned and fueled by paranoia, he tries to thwart the thieves and defend his castle.
So this is certainly going to be one of those, let's just wait till this is out and see if it's any good type films. It probably won't be very good. Maybe it will. I don't know. At least there's still a market for R-rated stoner comedies, I guess. If they get a cameo from Macaulay Culkin and Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern in there,
Could be good.
that'd be a nice little nod. Wink and a nod.
If you want to watch a great comedy that I think might still be on Netflix, that's a stoner comedy that involves lots of paranoia and
Joe's Apartment?
everything made worse by getting high, but still an enjoyable romp, especially when you're high. Smiley Face with Anna Faris. Did you ever see that?
I've never even heard of that.
It's fun. I like it. I don't know if it's aged well, but it was a fun movie when I was getting high all the time.
Well, anyway, we would be remiss if we didn't share what is arguably the biggest news this week. But it's also news that you're almost certainly already well aware of. It's just that it's official now. Shareholders for both the Walt Disney Company, the Mouse, and those for 21st Century Fox, the Fox, they voted on Friday to approve the $71.3 billion acquisition of Fox's film and TV entertainment assets by Disney. And now that this part of it's out of the way, the deal can move forward and is expected to finally, officially become double confirmed during the first half of 2019. Fantastic Four franchise back. Hooray!
Robert Liefeld's really excited. He's posting on Twitter.
I think it's very funny that, I mean, like, look, that specific aspect of the news, really cool.
Yeah.
But the big picture is a
little scary.
kind of shocking amount of media corporate consolidation has happened just in the last 6 months. And that's, I mean...
Not really great.
Not always a good thing. You got the AT&T WB deal and now this, and like the world just got a whole lot smaller in Hollywood.
They're doing, but I will say, 20th Century Fox and Disney doing fantastic PR by just positioning this as X-Men and Fantastic Four returning to Marvel.
The best selling point, for
Yeah.
sure. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, fine, whatever.
But okay, let's move on to trailers. First up, we have the trailer for Alita: Battle Angel, and there's a lot to take in here. That's because it's based on a manga, and of course, we're completely illiterate when it comes to that sort of thing. But this is directed by Robert Rodriguez and produced by James Cameron, and it also looks very expensive. The basic plot is that in the far, far distant future, a scientist played by Christoph Waltz finds an anime robot in the trash and refurbishes her. And she has no memories of her former life. But it turns out one of the few things she remembers is how to fight. So she ends up doing a lot of fighting against other fighting robots. Cool. Other than that, the plot here is a complete mystery to us, but it does look pretty. James Cameron has been trying to make this into a movie for a very long time, even registering the domain name battleangelalita.com all the way back in the year 2000, which sounds like it's in the future, but was 18 years ago.
Damn, James Cameron, didn't know you were such a weeb.
He could make a lot just by... he probably has a lot of money coming in just from squatting on web domains.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is definitely a labor of love, though unsurprisingly, there's been a bit of backlash to the project by people who are a little bit annoyed about a manga adaptation that seems to feature absolutely no actual Asian people.
Yeah, a little weird.
But we're not going to get into that because it's an argument that continues to happen over and over and over again.
We're just going to walk past the Beehive and not kick it.
What I am excited about, Robert Rodriguez at the helm, Junkie XL doing the score.
Yeah.
It looks cool.
It's the
opposite of the Uncanny Valley eyes from Jungle Book, where they make anime eyes, and it's like, that seems like it should be part of this movie. It's a bit weird, but...
Yeah, I mean, the movie looks beautiful. I don't know anything else about it.
Here's the strange thing about this movie, though. It's scheduled to come out on December 21st, which is in a very, very aggressive time for big budget movies.
Yeah.
Because Aquaman comes out the same time. And
I think they'll be fine.
Yeah.
I don't think too many people are going to see Aquaman.
Versus Alita? I think it'll be interesting to see which ones fans flock to and which ones will get a higher Rotten Tomatoes score.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
After watching the trailer a whole bunch over the course of this week, I do think it's very funny in the trailer that Aquaman has a whole scene where he goes skydiving in the desert. Redheads. Gotta love them.
Next in trailers, Jonah Hill has stepped into the director's chair for his first feature film, mid-90s, and as the title not only suggests, demands. This one is absolutely drenched in the sort of 1990s nostalgia that is so hot right now, but actually no. The 90s you see here is less the bright colors and pop culture everyone looks back on with rose-colored glasses, and more like much grungier stuff like Kids. The story's about a 13-year-old boy with a shitty home life who befriends a group of skater kids who might not be the best influence, but who give him the sort of like coming-of-age summer that people used to have before the internet made everyone just stay indoors.
Arguing the whole time with people they don't even know.
The aesthetic here is like fucking eerily appropriate for its time period and subject matter. It feels like they dug up the last remaining reels of a film stock that no one has used for 20 years. It looks like this,
like Sony Handycams and stuff like that.
They do have like footage of like the skate videos they're shooting, and it's like that would probably even be harder to like dig up one of those old cameras and get it running and figure out how to like get the footage off of it.
Yeah. It really does look time appropriate. It's almost like reminds me too much of my youth. And it makes me feel weird.
Yeah.
It's like how CNN just like, they burned through the decades and now they're on the 2000s.
Slow down.
I can't even watch it because I'm just like, fuck, man, like, I'm old.
Yeah. I don't want to watch something that's going to make me remember some cringy shit I did when I was 14. Get that out of here.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, mid-90s. This is an A24 movie, so right off the bat, it's got a pretty great seal of approval attached to it. And comes out October 19th. I'm excited to see what Jonah Hill got in store for us with his next career leap. A lot of people, don't take Jonah seriously. He's kind of
There's like a whole fucking meme.
Yeah, people are mean to Jonah Hill. It's
yeah,
not cool.
Like, stop making fun of Jonah Hill to his face and junket things. I'm just like, why are people doing this?
The man is talented. He is, like, really...
He's done Oscar-winning films.
Yeah, he has really gone above and beyond to, like, prove himself as, like, a guy who, like, takes his fucking work seriously, but everyone's just like, you were, like, the guy who sucked on the tits in Grandma's Boy, right? How'd those tits taste?
You were the guy that got the period blood on his leg in Superbad, right?
Get him, Jonah.
Anyways, next in trailers, Slender Man. 2011 called and it wants its content back. You obviously remember Slender Man. He's the most popular and successful example of internet creepypasta, first appearing as a series of creepy Photoshop images in 2009, and later expanding into short stories, video games, and short films, with his lore essentially crowdsourced by whoever on the internet had the motivation to add to it. It was fun. But a big part of the fun was that it was so decentralized and constantly evolving and was completely unconnected to any of the horror content coming out of Hollywood. Well, now, years later and years after the Slender Man craze has naturally died down, Hollywood is releasing their take on Slender Man, and it looks just about the most generic horror offering you could imagine.
Yeah, in it, a group of teen girls start investigating the disappearance of their friend, and they come across the Slender Man, who starts haunting them as well, which sounds like they just dug up an old, unproduced horror script that they had lying around and did a find and replace for the name of the monster in that script to replace it with Slender Man.
No.
So this looks completely uninteresting, but at the very least, gotta, pin a compliment on it. It does star Javier Botet as the Slender Man, which is perfect casting because he's basically a younger Spanish Doug Jones with even weirder body proportions. He played Mama in Mama. He's like, his body's fucking cool. So any like villain monster character he plays will at least be visually interesting.
That's what he's tired of hearing about in junket interviews. Your body's fucking cool. Yeah, I know. I get it.
Anyway, Slender Man comes out August 10th. We're genuinely curious to see how many people are actually interested in seeing this.
This is one that MoviePass might work on. Hey, yeah, plenty of Slender Man tickets. Come on, come out. Is it wide release?
I think so.
Oh, okay. Hey, maybe it'll be good. Anyways, big news. If you would like and prefer an audio version of this or any other show we do, we are now on pretty much every podcast.
Yeah. They say we don't do anything for the blind.
Yeah. And here we are, helping you out. But if you search on any podcast service you have, if you search for Weekly Weird News, that's its own standalone show. If you search for Idiots Watching Anime, that's its own standalone show. Everything else, meaning the daily episodes, Tech News Day, and News Dump, which is this show, is going to fall under Internet Today. So if you search Internet Today on Spotify, iTunes, anything like that, you're going to find those episodes and more. And please, if you are using these services, hit it with a follow, or if there's a rating system like on iTunes, give it a great review. That way we can hopefully dig our way into the actual podcast world and maybe get some new listeners that don't even know we're on YouTube.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But if you do have the option and you prefer watching us on YouTube, do it here, because this is the only place we can actually make money on ads so far. So far. Anyways, that's your homework for this weekend. We'll see you guys.
Homework on the weekend.
Also, we recorded a brand new episode of Idiots Watching Anime that should come out within the next couple of weeks, so keep your eyes out for that. If you're a member of our Patreon, which go support the Patreon, you'll be getting that episode a little bit earlier than everyone else. So, got a little extra money burning a hole in your pocket? Go hit up our Patreon. We very much appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Watch our other episodes. Here we got a brand new episode of Weekly Weird News, and it's something else over here. Most Offensive Game, something like that. You'll check it out. Enjoy your weekend.
Bye-bye.